This is CBT News, the voice of the retail automotive industry.
Good morning, everyone. Jim Fitzpatrick with CBT News. Thanks so much for joining me today. The vehicle purchase process can be a daunting one for many consumers, but one used independent car dealer has made it her mission to change that with the Go Joe experience. Amanda Gordon, owner of Go Joe Auto, is talking to us today about her efforts and what next is online for Go Joe Auto. Thanks so much for joining us, Amanda.
Thanks for having me, Jim. I really appreciate it.
Sure. So you are a black female in the retail auto industry. In fact, you're an independent, highly successful dealer in Colorado. So fantastic. Congratulations on all your success. But I want to talk to you a little bit about, before we get started here on the Go Joe experience, tell me a little bit about your journey, because I'm sure you have got unique challenges along the way that maybe, us white guys didn't have getting into the car business, right?
Thank you for your openness and candidness, and thank you so much for having me.
Sure.
First, never once did I imagine or dream that I was going to be in the car business. There's no little girl out there, at least in my generation, that says, when I grow up, I'm going to sell cars, particularly used cars, right?
Exactly, right.
And
Right.
So, in fact, quite the opposite. It's not glamorized. In fact, there's several jokes in movies that just, So I started in retail. I was going to college. I was working at the Gap, and my dreams and aspirations were to be a regional manager for the Gap, right? I was going straight to the top.
Right.
And so a young lady came into my store. At this point in time, Gap denim was all the craze.
Yeah.
If you didn't wear Gap jeans, you just weren't in the in crowd.
Right.
And so she walked in and she said, "Don't even try to sell me your denim. I'm oddly shaped. I'm here for a couple of sweaters or whatever it was. Don't even try it." Well, 2 hours later, she left with 3 pair of jeans, and she gave me her card. She said, "You need to come work with me." It's odd.
Right.
I was 20 years old, fresh from California in Denver, fresh from California to Denver. And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And she said, "I work for Honda." And so I'm going, well, I know a little bit about Hondas. My boyfriend drove a Honda. I know the trim levels, right? And so this could be interesting. So I went, and the rest is, as they say, history. I started in sales.
Wow.
I worked a little bit in the subprime department because they were building a subprime department. So I learned that portion of it. And then within a year, I was a finance manager, making too much money for a 21-year-old kid, if
Right.
I can say. And so, and then just kind of went from there. I toggled between sales and finance.
Okay.
And then I got into the independent side. One of my general managers opened up his own shop and asked me to come work with him. And that's when I really got to learn the business, the back end side. And I didn't even know that that's what was happening. And used cars stuck to me because the people really need you, right? They're in a unique situation. Sometimes, well, most of the time, challenged credit. They don't think they're leaving with a car.
Right.
And they really need transportation for their family, school, grocery shopping, get to work. Hello. And so I really felt like I was doing something. I was helping. And then you look around and you don't see very many faces that look like mine.
That's right.
So something inspired me along the way to start my own dealership. And when I was going through the process, I was an ambassador for the Colorado Independent Auto Dealers Association. And they privied me to the fact that I was the first African-American woman to be a licensed dealer in the state of Colorado.
That's fantastic. That is so cool.
And that was November 24th, 2018. And at that moment, Jim, something shifted in my spirit to where it now became an obligation and a duty to help other women of color, people of color, to just know about the auto industry and how lucrative and fun. It's been so good to me.
Yeah.
And to not see more people that look like me in it is a travesty, right?
Right.
And so it's my duty, my mission to spread the gospel about how good the automotive industry can be, because a lot of people just don't know unless you were born into it. Legacy, right? A lot of legacy dealers out there.
That's right.
And so it just.
So how do you make, but talk to me about making the leap from working for somebody, to all of a sudden you've got your own lot with inventory and employees and, and overhead costs and what have you. That's a big leap, right?
Yeah, it's simple. I'm a little crazy. And so there was nowhere left to go. I was managing the lot, and the only step left was ownership.
Yeah.
And after getting to see the back end, the nuances and how the dealership was ran, and I was practically running the dealership except for not making the money.
Right.
I I really had a talk with myself and my higher power and said, you know, if they can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
And got together the information of what it took to have inventory, to have employees, to have I have a unique setup where I have about 2,000 square feet of office space, and then my lot is adjacent.
Okay.
To our office space.
Yeah.
So the overhead is a lot lower, which
Okay.
has helped us maintain
Sure.
And grow actually through
Sure.
times like these. And so I did the research and I took a leap of faith and said, I'll build the parachute on the way down. And here we are.
So you better build fast, right?
I build fast. I build real fast.
That's
Yeah,
right.
the learning curve, the learning curve is quick.
That's
And I have great resources, right? There's people in the automotive industry that I lean on so heavy,
Yeah.
and who answer the phone for me
Yeah.
when I call. So again, I can't stress enough that although the industry lacks diversity, which we're working on, it's still
right.
so family oriented,
Yeah.
right? Like I've never seen an industry where we help each other.
Sure.
Even though we can be competition, we
Yeah.
still say, hey, what are you doing for inventory? Hey, what are you doing for leads? Hey,
Sure.
what are you doing for this vendor, that? And we help each other and build each other. And so
That's
it's
right.
just
Really, at
helped
the
a lot.
core, you know, that's what CBT is all about as well, is to bring people that share their stories, much like you just did today, to say, hey, here's the real deal. You know, this is what I had to go through, and these are the struggles, and this is where I'm at today. And so that we agree. We think that the more dealers can talk about the industry, the others, you know, the other dealers that tune in will learn from it. And there's a lot of people just like you that are today, they're managers or salespeople, and they're saying, how do I become an automobile dealer? You know, and they see that path is just like so out of whack. It's like, or I should say, so far-fetched that they say, I'll probably never be a dealer, whether it be an independent dealer or a franchise dealer. But that's just not the case. If they hang in there and they stick to it, there's definitely a way forward for them to become a dealer principal or owner of a independent lot,
Or
right?
If they couple with someone, I'm a huge believer in mentorship. If they
Right.
know of an older person who's on their way out, get underneath that person, get under their wings, so
Right.
that you can learn the strategy and the business and then take over from there. You don't have to necessarily start from scratch all the time.
Yeah, no question about it. So talk to me about the Gojo experience. This sounds interesting to me. I've heard about it from some other people in the industry. So tell me about it.
Sure. And so first I have to let everybody know, because everyone always asks, where's Gojo come from? What does that mean? So my last name is Gordon. That's
Okay.
where you get the G-O. My mother's last name, I'm an only child, my mother and I are very close, is Johnson. So that's where you get the J-O.
Gotcha.
And she came up with the name. I wanted it to be Amanda's Amazing Auto Emporium. She thought it was a little pretentious. She came up with Gojo, and here we are. So
That's
for
fantastic.
starters, that's where Gojo came from. But our experience is heavily female friendly. Because women in general are an underrepresented demographic when it comes to the car buying process, yet we make most of the car buying decisions
That's right.
within the household.
That's right.
So and our demographics are split 51% women, 49% male, as far as the consumers coming in and buying from us. But my staff is 80% female, 20% male.
Okay.
So, and that was by law of attraction.
Right.
Me being a female owner,
Sure.
more women wanted to come and work with me. And so here we are. And it's just, it's a family oriented. I mean, as soon as you walk in, it feels like you're walking into your living room. We've got the TV, we've got popcorn, we've got sodas, we've got snacks,
Sure.
we've got an area for the kids. And it feels like you're having a conversation. It doesn't feel like you're buying a car.
Right.
Right? It feels like you're getting your needs met. It feels like you're getting listened to.
Right.
It feels like you're being seen, you're being heard, and that your challenges and your needs are being met during the car buying process, which is what we wanted, a new experience
Right.
when buying a car. So that's
Right.
something that definitely sets us apart. And you can see from our reviews, all our referrals, that they really feel different after leaving from the other previous car purchases that they've done.
Sure.
So that's something we lean really heavy on, is the experience that the consumer receives.
Yeah, and kudos to you for getting it, because that's really where the industry is headed. That's what consumers want. They've told us that in every single survey. Why is it so difficult to buy a car? Why is it so time consuming? Why do I have to be at a dealership for 4 or 5 hours when I've got to move on with my life? You know, the car purchase is a big one, but it's not so big that I got to spend the whole day at the dealership, right? And when I do, and I ask a question, I want a straight answer. So, you know, I commend you for taking that approach early on, and because that really is in response to what consumers are looking for today, for sure. Right.
And Jim, and with today's technology, right, there's no reason why 60% of the car deal can't be done before that buyer comes in, because let's be honest, you've probably talked to them either on the phone or via email before they walked in the door.
That's
nowadays,
right. That's right.
Because they want to save time.
Yeah,
and hey, you know, don't worry about it, just come in. It doesn't work. That doesn't work anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Just get them in the door.
That's right. When if somebody texts to you and say, hey, is that vehicle there? You know, don't text back, come on in, when can we set the appointment?
Yeah, let's see.
It's not what they want.
Yeah, exactly. That's not what they want. So give them what they want. And if you listen to them, and one principle I lean so heavy on is the customer writes my paycheck.
That's right.
Why would I not listen to them?
Yeah, it's
right.
True.
Nobody writes my paycheck unless I sell a car. So I need that to be a good experience.
Yeah. My producer wrote down here that you have made it a goal to hire more than 100 women. Talk to me about that.
So at 4, we're at 4, and we've been in business 18 months.
Okay.
And at 4 women, 5 if I count myself, which I created a job for myself, so I guess I count. And I do have to plug 3 superhero women, and I just teamed up to create an organization called WOCAN, which is the Women of Color.
I want to talk to you about that as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and so Carrie Wise, VP of TrueCar, one of my dear friends, just a phenomenal human being. Patrice Banks, owner of Chicanic in Philadelphia, all female automotive garage.
Wow.
And then Erica Wells, who's a sales manager and operations manager down in Atlanta for a Nissan point.
Right. Yep.
The 4 of us got together. And I say it's like being a Power Ranger. Like, we're really awesome by ourselves, but then we got together and created this massive Power Ranger, and it's just like dominating the automotive space. And all 4 of our passion is to get more women involved. So, you know, they say if you want to be great, you can go at it alone, but if you want to be better, you do it together. Something along those lines. But having this team, and all 4 of us are aligned with creating a safe space in the automotive place for women, particularly women of color, and so it's just growing even faster. And so 100 might turn into 1,000 for me before I retire.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a fantastic goal. It's something that we do suffer from in retail automotive, whether it be on the independent side or the franchise side. We've talked about it a number of times. To some of the biggest dealer groups out there that are run by females. You know, Liza Borges comes to mind. She's running her, CMA, Carter Myers Auto Group, does an unbelievable job. But there's also so many others. And and I continue to ask the question: what do we need to do in the industry to make it more female friendly? Because we're to your point, we want to look in our showrooms more like our customer base. And to your point, it's 51% female, right?
Right, and that's the key. Don't you want your sales staff or your staff in general to be representative of who you're selling to?
That's right.
And I think when we become more aware of that, then the mindset can shift, right? I know I'm a member of NAMAT, the National Association of Minority Auto Dealers, and there's 74 women of color owners out of the 10,000 dealerships in the United States, and 4 of them are African American women.
Right.
So the numbers are just insanely off base. But I also think
there's no question. I know.
I also think we don't do a good job of education, right? Of letting people of color know that it's an opportunity to be very successful.
Oh, there's no question.
Success, the top 4, doctor, lawyer, right? All of that comes to mind, but you never think general sales manager of an auto dealership who probably makes more than a doctor or a lawyer. That's right.
And as soon as they get to the dealer level, and become a dealer principal, I'm sure they definitely make more than a doctor or a lawyer out there.
Yeah, the earning is unlimited.
What do you think, in your opinion, has to change in the retail auto space in order to attract more females? Because you'll hear oftentimes from females, well, it's a tough business, it's male dominated, the hours are too long, the pay isn't steady, I get no personal time, to be with my kids at soccer games or what have you. And those are real issues, aren't they?
Right, they absolutely are. But I think that's changing, right? You've got more flexible schedules, because now I think what dealers want is production from their sales team. So
Right.
as long as you're hitting your numbers, that schedule looks a little bit more flexible. Back in the good old days, you had to wait on the point for an up,
That's
and
right.
you had to work 18 hours because you never knew when the up bus was coming.
That's right.
Now you can schedule your day with your emails and your text messages, and you can sell a car a day between 9 to 5. I know Ali Rita, the top salesperson in the automotive industry, who works Monday through Friday 9 to 5.
That's right.
And he sells 100 cars a month.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of more flexibility with scheduling, and times have changed. You've got Adam Aarons at Patriot Subaru.
Patriot,
down in
yeah.
Florida,
He's on CBT all the time. Great guy.
Adore Adam. And he is very forward and progressive thinking when it comes to scheduling. And he's got a great point. He says, my schedule is not just flexible for women, because he runs a 30%, somewhere between 30 and 40% female staff.
Right.
All the way through.
Right.
And he says, my schedule's not just flexible for women, it's flexible for everyone.
Right.
Right. And so everyone has the opportunity to have a quality of life. And I think that's the key.
That's right. We've got to get away from that old way of thinking that says, if sales aren't there or you're not hitting your number, you need to be there at the dealership. And then also, if sales are there and you're having a great month, you need to be at the dealership.
Right.
When do I not need to be at the dealership? I remember when I first got my job in the auto industry and somebody hired me as a salesperson, and I said, well, what are the hours? And he walked me over to the front door and he said, those are your hours.
Bell to bell.
9 to 9, Saturday, Sunday. It was in South Florida.
Yep.
Stores were open Sundays. He said, don't even ask that question for the first 6 months. You need to be here when the store is open. And, I was a young guy. I said, okay, if that's what it takes, And it never changed from there, by the way, because then I was promoted to a finance manager, and forget it, we were the last to leave, as you know.
Absolutely.
And but I mean, it's been a great career for me in auto. But we need to change. We need to really break the mold and rethink how we're going to be treating our employees and those people, those candidates that come into the industry. Otherwise, we just won't be able to get anybody to come in.
Right. It's
and we want to get the top of the barrel, not the bottom of the barrel candidates that come in.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And hey, listen, I know the automotive industry is so powerful and has worked
That's right.
for so long. So I get why it's hesitant to make those shifts and those changes, but it's time.
Right.
Right? Imagine how great it could be.
That's right.
If we get more flexible and a little more nimble and get more open to these ideas that, hey, women outsell men statistically, right? This is not an emotional quote. It's a data quote. Like, women outsell men 11 to 8 on the sales floor. They make more money when they're in the finance office.
Right.
And we just need more sitting at the table, right? To have a different perspective, to have a different point of view, to put that ease on the consumer when they walk into the dealership. It's time.
There's no question about it. In fact, it's way overdue, actually.
Right.
But talk to me about digital retailing. As an independent dealer, do you have the tools and everything necessary, to win in that arena, or is that something that's slow coming to independents?
So it's so interesting because I came from a franchise mentality. Mm-hmm. So I like my independent to run like a franchise, if that's possible.
Sure.
And so a lot of the conferences pre-corona that I go to are franchise-based, and a lot of the data that I extrapolate is from franchise operations. And so it's very important to me that I know what's going on with new cars, because a new car is just a used car waiting to happen.
That's right.
So I need to know what's going on before it hits me, right?
That's right.
And so I'd be a fool not to pay attention to the trends. And as far as digital retail, I mean, that's what it is,
I know.
Right? There are no fresh ups or no drive-bys anymore.
No.
It's all digital.
That's right.
And so our social media is extremely powerful. All of our third-party vendors that we lean on, and our digital footprint, I mean, it's heavy because it has to be. If we want to be successful, we have to be in the digital space, and we have to be able to know what's going on. So yes, it's available, but you have to pay attention. You have to educate yourself. You have to, this word is so scary in the car business, change. You have to change. and just, again, stay educated, right?
That's right. So
Harry
what's next?
Oh, go ahead.
What's next for Gojo Auto? I mean, I know that you're already thinking about, the next plateau, right?
Absolutely. So I want an alpha store. I want to be running about 200 cars. Right now we're up to 30. And just to give you an idea, I started with 2 cars in January of 2019.
Two cars. At least it's a start.
An '05 Cadillac SRX and a 2010 Dodge Charger all-wheel drive. I will never forget those 2 cars.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
And so I want an alpha store, and I tell you, 100% honesty, the money is the byproduct. I want to be bigger so that I can help more people.
Right.
So that I can have more women, influence more consumers, and let them know that car buying shouldn't suck.
Right.
It should be fun.
Right.
It should be exciting.
So to you, the car business is just the avenue to get there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just the vessel. And I'm not even a car girl. Like cars,
Yeah.
I'm a people person.
So says the only black female independent dealer in the state of Colorado, maybe in the country. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people, and I don't think I've come across, another black female running an automobile dealership. But so it's very exciting, and I want to thank you so much for joining us here on the show, because I was looking forward to this interview. I heard a lot about you, and you've lived up to all of those great comments that people told me about you. So thank you so much. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yeah, I'd love to do a follow-up with you, in the coming months. See how things are going.
Anytime.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks for watching CBT News, the voice of the retail automotive industry. CBT Automotive Network is a part of the JBF Business Media family.